Thanks, Lascan Corla. First of all, I want to thank Deputy Thomas Pringle for pushing consistently for this debate, because it's a very important debate. What this debate should have been about was a formal announcement by Minister Eamon Ryan saying that Ireland is immediately withdrawing from the Energy Charter Treaty. Unfortunately, it's not. Italy, Germany, France, Poland and Luxembourg have all already formally withdrawn. Ireland has said that it plans to withdraw, but has not yet done so. The European Commission has recommended a coordinated withdrawal by the whole of the European Union. The question is, why on earth is the Irish government and the Green Party in that government dragging its feet on this? The argument I heard earlier from Minister Ryan was pointing to the 20-year sunset clause, that even when you leave, then they can still sue you for another 20 years. That's not an argument to stay, it's an argument to leave as quickly as is possible so that the clock starts running on that sunset. Rapid withdrawal is more urgent than ever. Every day, the amount of carbon in the atmosphere is rising and the climate crisis is worsening. The state is being sued for up to $100 million by Lansdowne Oil and Gas after the minister quite rightly refused to grant it a lease for further oil exploration. Lansdowne Oil and Gas is owned by Larry Goodman. So what we're talking about here is a greedy, amoral billionaire demanding millions of euros off of the public in this country because he's not allowed to blast millions more tonnes of carbon into our already dangerously overheated atmosphere. He's suing us for not being allowed to cause more floods in Cork, more devastating heat waves across Europe, and more hurricanes and climate refugees across the world. Every day that we remain a member of this outrageously anti-environmental and pro-big oil and gas treaty exposes us to further costly litigation through its investor-state dispute system, an entirely illegitimate system of secret, private courts that favour the interests of profit over the interests of humanity and our interest in living on a livable planet. All over the world, states trying to transition to renewable energy are being sued for billions of dollars through these secret courts. An international cabal of fossil fuel speculators, greedy, disaster-chasing corporate lawyers and vulture funds who finance taking these cases in the hopes of a multi-million-dollar payout are creating a massive chilling effect on climate action. Oil, gas and coal firms have been awarded so far over $100 billion by the ECT tribunals. A staggering and outrageously unjust figure. But it's estimated that states could ultimately have to pay out up to $1 trillion in total to fossil fuel companies under the Energy Charter Treaty to compensate them for not burning up our planet, for not causing even more climate chaos than they have already. This is absolutely madness. It epitomises this upside-down system of capitalism. We in People Before Profit say not a penny to the oil and gas companies who have covered up for the terrible damage that they have done to our climate, who knew about it for decades and decades since the 70s. It is they who should be paying compensation to us, the public, not the other way around. They should be paying compensation to future generations. They should be paying reparations to those who are mostly impacted by the climate crisis today, the poorest countries and the poorest people in the world. Just 100 companies, overwhelmingly oil and gas companies, are responsible for 71% of all carbon emissions since 1988. If we are to have any hope of getting to zero emissions in time to prevent total climate catastrophe, which would mean mass extinction for millions of species of living things and suffering and death for billions of people around the world, we have to expropriate, not compensate, the fossil fuel companies. We must take the energy system as a whole into democratic public ownership so that we can plan for a rapid and just transition to renewable energy. We do not have a hope in hell otherwise. It is a case of eco-socialism or extinction. So we cannot allow the Energy Charter Treaty to stand in the way of the vital climate emergency measures that we need. We need a formal withdrawal as quickly as is possible. We need it immediately, and the government could do it. I would also make the point that Ireland should publicly announce its support at COP28 for a fossil fuel non-proliferation treaty involving a complete global fossil fuel phase-out. This is now being called for by a coalition of small island states and leading climate experts. It should be the #1 priority for the Green Party in government, given its justification for propping up Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael was the opportunity to take meaningful climate action. It's now 4 years since the government blocked People Before Profit's climate emergency bill. They did so by citing the threat of legal action by fossil fuel companies as one of their reasons for opposing it. But what has the government, what has the Green Party done since to mitigate that threat by, for example, withdrawing from the ECT? Absolutely nothing. So it's very clear what should happen. We should withdraw from the Energy Charter Treaty now. We should state publicly that Ireland will not be compensating any one of these major corporations, especially not a corrupt billionaire like Larry Goodman, for destroying the basis of life on this planet.